If I had to play like a really successful, self-assertive teenager, I would have had a much harder time. My 14-year-old self was very uncomfortable. You do crazy things at that age, not really knowing where they'll lead. I certainly didn't mean to really change my name.
You are so spectacular in this. It's so lovely to have you back. And I'm curious to know whether, when you signed up to play Kiri, even for like the second one, whether you knew what was in store for her, that she'd be such an integral part of like Fire and Ash and everything that's happening in Pandora.
I did. I mean, Jim and I had sort of talked, I thought a little jokingly, about this forest girl and how immature I was. Thank you, Jim. That's what old friends are for. But I must say that she does become increasingly integral, as you say, in 4 and 5 even more, so I do hope we get to do them. But I found it's such a sweet thing to ask me to do. I think he knew that my 14-year-old self was very uncomfortable. I was this tall when I was 11, and so I was like, And so to revisit that, at least begin with that, because I didn't want to play a teenager. I wanted to really to grow and be a teenager like a plant. And now it is incredible to get out of her way in the volume and let her be herself. And it's a kind of acting I feel like I can really appreciate, having been in the business so long, because it's not an AD going, we have to get this before lunch. There's none of that. Right. There's none of the encumbrances. And you're just there for as long as it takes, with Jim Cameron right there in your little suit with your wonderful co-stars, finding out what the scene is about. And in Kiri's situation, it's almost, how do I make sense of this world and what's going on when it doesn't make any sense? And so she's always at a certain pitch, unless, of course, she's with Spider, and then it's a little more relaxed.
No, I wasn't sure, because I know when people have asked James Cameron about the next films, he's like, don't want to talk about them. I'm unemployed right now. Like, I'm not thinking about it. So I wasn't sure whether he had let you in on where things go, but it's nice to know that he has. I was curious, though, you mentioned about like when you were a teenager and how you were at 14. So I know there was a big change for you. You changed your name when you were 14. For me, when I was 14, the first Avatar came out. So that was like, there's nice connections. So what was like 14-year-old Sigourney like going through? And how much did you manage to bring her to Kiri?
Well, I think I clearly wanted to get away from myself because my name was Susie, and I was so tall, I wanted a longer name. You do crazy things at that age, not really knowing where they'll lead. I certainly didn't mean to really change my name. I was just taking it from a book while I could figure out what name I wanted to have. And I didn't want to be called Susie, but now, of course, people who know me well call me Siggy. So in a way, you can't escape your destiny. But, I feel like my experience at that age was, I remember so vividly being that age, physically, mentally, emotionally, and so that certainly, the ability to just sort of get back into that space was certainly where I began. And, with respect for what people that age are going through. Yeah. It's a very complex time. It's confusing, it's intimidating, it's, there's so much going on. And so that's where I began, and I still feel my roots are there. But it was kind of, if I had to play like a really successful, self-assertive teenager, I would have had a much harder time.
No, you did it very well. She's adorable in some ways. You are an icon of so many franchises. Obviously, there's Alien, there's Ghostbusters, and then there's this. And you must have seen so much change, I think, within the industry, having been in it so long. Is it nice when you have someone like James Cameron who is still championing using real actors? Because I've heard him so much say, this isn't generative AI. It could be like a film like Avatar, but he's such a champion of like real actors. Yeah. Like, how much does that mean to have someone who's making sure that you're still getting to do what you do?
Yeah, it is really unique. I mean, he actually created this technology for the actors to be able to have this freedom and integrity. And I think it's been kind of a great joy for all of us to put out the truth of what we do, pull the veil aside so you can see we're not in a studio, voicing a character. But I agree with Jim. I think what he's saying is, AI might be useful in certain areas to save money with special effects or something like that. They're already doing that. But to remind people that the creative spark and the originality of the human being, the heart, the soul, the mind, people have been able to rip off a movie like Alien forever, but you don't watch them more than 5 minutes. So I think he, as a true artist, he wants to remind people that the script that's written by a passionate human being, the role that's played by a passionate human being, I believe the audience. I believe in them. Yeah. I believe they can absolutely tell everywhere that this is real and authentic, or when it's just sort of, coughed up gobbledygook that sort of tries to ride on the coattails of another hit. Honestly, there's nothing like the experience of Avatar. I'm so proud and grateful to be at a point in time where we're able to give the audience this uniting experience, because this is a movie that everyone around the world can get to and share, and in this horrible time of politics and war and conflict and misunderstanding and accusation, to go to a place where we can all be reminded of how important family is, all be reminded of that your fellow creatures on the planet are equal citizens of the earth, and corporations and greedy individuals don't have a right to nullify their experience and, in fact, wipe them out.
It's a beautiful film. Even visually, everything, the story, and you, Sigourney, are irreplaceable. And I don't think anyone could do what you do. So,
aren't you nice?
So it is sweet. Lovely to meet you.
Lovely to meet you too.
Long may you continue doing this, because I love seeing you on screen.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.